A kick streamer is facing 20 years in a South Korean prison after filming himself harassing women, trashing businesses, and disrespecting war.
This American influencer wants to be famous, but now he's probably going.
They say karma always knocks when you least expect it, and for Johnny Somali, the tab that just landed is wild. The man's flashy lifestyle finally caught up to him, and now the South Korean courts just hit him with a jaw-dropping fine of $10 million. That's not just expensive, it's the kind of number that makes your bank account cry out loud. Imagine his accountant, probably sweating bullets and screaming at the sky right now. This isn't the kind of debt you shake off with sponsorships or content drops. It's the type of punishment that crushes your world in one swipe. $10 million. That's not a typo. That's a financial sledgehammer designed to end not only the show, but the whole circus around his name. The vibe has shifted. Those walls aren't just for clout anymore. They're really closing in on him.
And that extends the whole trial process by easily 2 to 3 months. So if he just pleaded guilty to that, things would be over pretty quickly. He would get his sentence and he would at least know what his fate is. But now they're deciding to extend the process for no real upside, and by him not pleading guilty, that just makes the sentence even harsher on him.
But let's be real, this ain't some random twist of fate. This is the fallout Johnny Somali practically begged for. Behind the alias, Ramsey Khaled Ismael spent years running a solo world tour of chaos, stepping into every country like it was his personal stage for disrespect. He didn't just travel, he hunted for outrage, mocking traditions, trashing rules, and pushing limits like laws and respect were written for everyone else but him. He heckled Japanese commuters with cruel jokes about Hiroshima and Nagasaki. He clowned Korean memorials that honored real wartime suffering. He even filmed himself dumping noodles all over store counters like it was comedy, cussing at clerks just trying to do their job. And the whole time, he wore that red "Make America Great Again" cap, parading it like a shield, as if a slogan could protect him from cultures that hold centuries of pride and dignity. Now the empire of chaos he built has finally collapsed. And trust, it's no soft landing, it's a straight nosedive.
So today, at least he was very serious. So currently he's facing 8 counts, or 8 charges, and 4 of which are obstruction of businesses, 2 of which are misdemeanors. He pled guilty to all 6 of those charges. Then you have the 2 big charges, which are the deepfakes charges, and the deepfake charges are for distributing the
Now Johnny's staring down what feels like a loaded gun with a sticky note that screams, "Pay up or rot." The South Korean courts laid it out plain. He's got a suspended sentence, but only if he pulls $10 million out of thin air. And anyone with half a brain knows that's not happening. His streaming cash flow dried up long ago. Twitch booted him, YouTube slammed the door, and even those shady bottom-barrel streaming sites don't want his name flashing on their feeds anymore. Every platform he loses is another step closer to those cold, gray prison walls. Prosecutors, led by a battle-hardened veteran with a win rate that scares defense lawyers, aren't even pretending to play nice. Leniency? Forget it. One legal expert dropped it cold, saying, "Yeah, we kinda need to give some severe punishment here." And that's before we even get to the next pile of legal trouble waiting to blow under his feet. Sure, Ismael can spin on Rumble or whatever no-name platform still tolerates him, but the stakes aren't going anywhere. They're locked in. If he can't pay, and let's be honest, unless he's streaming from Fort Knox, he can't, then his tiny taste of freedom gets snatched away. South Korea isn't a place where you cry broke and walk out with a pat on the back. It's decades, maybe a whole lifetime behind bars. And this isn't the US justice system where a slick lawyer and a sad backstory can soften the blow. Here, the judges don't care about your content game, and the audience isn't here to be trolled. One slip, one missed payment, and Johnny Somali transforms into a living cautionary tale. Proof for every wannabe streamer who thinks East Asia is just a giant playground for viral stunts that the joke can end with bars, not views.
For people out there, this is the sentencing range before today. It changes wildly, and you're going to see it in the best way. And that's the best way for me and those who want Johnny Somali convicted, and the worst way for Johnny Somali after this one is out.
What's crazy is how long Johnny Somali managed to act untouchable, floating above real consequences like he was bulletproof. He swaggered through airports as if rules didn't apply, dropping half-hearted apology clips like they were throwaway Instagram stories. He even had the nerve to clown his own captors from the backseat of a police car, bragging to his American fans that he'd never face real punishment because, in his words, "I'm an American citizen." Then came court day. He strolled in late, rocking that infamous red cap, more than an hour behind schedule. And word is, he was still buzzing from a late-night bender the night before. He didn't just look reckless, he looked like a man still hypnotized by his own myth, convinced that his follower count made him invincible. But reality doesn't care about clout, and Korea definitely wasn't buying the act. Online mobs, street mobs, everyone was gunning to drag him down 10 levels. Social feeds lit up with wild rumors about a bounty on his head, and the backlash got so heavy that even members of the National Assembly had to stop and debate how to shut down American pranksters who treat Seoul like it's some kind of unsupervised frat house.
Ramsey Khaled Ismael has been hit with a new criminal charge. That's right. As of 2 days ago, on the 25th of July of 2025, we have a new criminal charge for Johnny Somali, aka Ramsey.
Yet this is where the story flips, from messy cautionary tale to something straight out of a fever dream. Just when it looked like the dust might settle, the charges started multiplying, from business obstruction and petty antics to whispers of spreading propaganda, and even twisted allegations about inappropriate content tied to minors. And then came the rumor mill, spinning a scandal so bizarre it makes his street stunts look like child's play. Behind closed doors, chatter in Korean law enforcement points to Somali messing with AI deepfakes, not as some nerdy experiment, but as a weapon. Word on the street says he may have used AI-generated videos to silence, pressure, or flat-out blackmail people trying to expose him. The wildest claim? A female Korean streamer allegedly appeared in explicit AI footage, with Somali's digital fingerprints all over the setup. If prosecutors pin that on him, it's not a slap on the wrist. It could tack 7 extra years onto his time. Nobody knows how far the scheme goes, but the picture is ugly. This wasn't just dumb pranks spiraling out of control. It might have been a full-on digital extortion hustle hiding under the chaos. For a guy banned from half the internet, Somali sure manages to be linked to more innovation in crime than a B-list movie villain. And the deeper his defense scrambles, the messier it gets. Obstruction, offensive behavior, lewd acts, propaganda, digital exploitation. The list stacks so high prosecutors could invent a brand new category of crime just to file it all. One case even has a parent from Lay World claiming Somali's text-to-speech donations were so explicit they're demanding the absolute max penalty possible. Now, with this deepfake scandal creeping in, the case has gone way past petty trolling or culture shock jokes. It's about victims pushing civil claims and a legal nightmare that could drag on for years.
This is called merging in a charge. It is atypical for this to happen once, but it is completely unprecedented. From the people I've talked to, lawyers, others in this process, to see this many merged into the case, which really means they are hitting him and with needles and needles and needles.
Still, every time it looks like the curtain's finally falling, Somali just grins for the camera and shrugs it off. Is it all bravado, straight delusion, or is something darker bubbling under the surface? That's where rumors stop being whispers and start sounding like conspiracies. Folks say his unshakable swagger ain't just American ego or streamer narcissism. Some people think there's secret backing at play, big shots pulling strings behind the scenes, a kind of shadow protection for his chaos. Why else would he keep flexing his US citizenship, calling on consular channels and showing up to court like he's waiting for a hero's parade? The American lawyer poking through this mess says he checked with State Department sources, and heads up, there's no cavalry coming. That doesn't kill the rumors, it just makes them louder. But what if it's not the state stepping in but some other whisper network, a backroom deal, or a hidden campaign nudging events along for reasons we still can't see? That possibility is enough to make every watcher ask more questions and trust almost nothing.
We have a trend that I called out in the beginning, and I said this would happen, and exactly as I predicted, we are seeing new charges added right before each court date. Every single court.
This ain't just a loudmouth YouTuber finally getting his comeuppance. This has blown up into a global scandal with real teeth. An American citizen stands accused of weaponizing slick new tech, leaving chaos in his wake, cultural outrage, public assaults, and straight-up digital blackmail, while dropping hints he's got backup from powers way above his pay grade. So what's the play? Is Johnny Somali just a clout-chasing clown, or was he always a pawn in a darker game? Maybe he's a tool in something bigger, moving across borders, screens, and secret courtrooms. The next move isn't about him alone. It could come from forces we don't even see yet. And that makes this mess way more dangerous and way harder to read.
Okay, so we just got out of Johnny Somali's third court day here in the beautiful yet rainy Seoul, South Korea. And it's safe to say, last time things went terrible for him. Today, things went awful. And honestly, kind of embarrassing because a lot of the stuff they did not make sense whatsoever. Clearly, he was way more locked in. He realized how much he screwed up now, it seems like, and he's realizing, uh-oh, I might be stuck in prison.
As the Somali saga unravels live for the world to see, the shockwaves ripping through the streaming universe can't be ignored. This isn't just one provocateur crashing and burning. It's a raw look at the hidden costs of a whole new era, the rise of nuisance streamers. Every reckless broadcast he dropped left scars far beyond the views and likes he was chasing. Businesses had to slam their doors shut. Workers walked away from jobs in disgust. Whole neighborhoods got dragged onto the global stage, reduced to punchlines or unwilling victims of someone else's content. What once passed off as trolling for laughs is now a case study in how digital stunts twist and damage real communities. Seoul lived it firsthand, subway riders blindsided by booming propaganda music, convenience stores turned into battlegrounds over instant noodles and canned drinks, and sacred memorials hijacked for strangers' entertainment. How much destruction does one prank need to cause before the world says enough? South Korea looks ready to deliver that answer with fire. Their stance on Somali isn't just about punishing one man, it's about drawing a red line for anyone trying to profit off humiliation and chaos. Lawmakers in parliament are even talking about drafting fresh laws and harsher penalties built specifically to shut down this brand of digital spectacle before it spreads further. One attorney put it bluntly, "Yeah, we kinda need to give some severe punishment here." And that's exactly what's happening. We're witnessing the birth of a new precedent, where countries push back hard against foreign clout chasers who treat their cities like disposable movie sets. Already, other IRL streamers, especially Americans and Europeans known for controversy, have gone suspiciously quiet online. This trial isn't just another headline, it's a warning shot echoing across the globe.
Johnny Somali is frequently getting arrested in foreign countries for his on-stream behavior, but they always let him go. With the amount of sentences this guy's avoided.
Now with Somali's spectacular crash landing, the reckoning stretches far beyond one man's punishment. It's about us too. Has the digital audience finally hit its breaking point, or are we guilty of building up the very villains we turn around and despise? That's a bitter pill, but the evidence is flashing red, and it's getting harder to look away. While platforms scramble to rewrite their rules and law enforcement rushes to catch up, viewers are stuck facing the mirror. Did we feed the beast every time we clicked, shared, or laughed at the chaos? Somali's saga isn't just about one streamer's arrogance. It's a raw, cautionary tale about the psychology of online fame itself. This culture didn't just let his infamy grow, it practically built the stage for it.
So this turd, his name is Johnny Somali. Well, that's not his actual name. His real name is...
And yet, Somali's reign of mayhem hasn't been left in the hands of the courts alone. It spilled into something that looked straight out of a dystopian movie. As the drama peaked, public bounties started popping up across social media and local message boards. Everyday citizens and even Korean influencers began offering real cash for anyone who could drop Somali's location or catch him in the act. One bounty hit 1 million won, about $800, just for intel. Another offered money to teach him a lesson. What followed was a chaotic citywide cat and mouse chase. Every time Somali stepped outside, he risked turning into the target of a mob. He got punched in the face live on stream, chased through packed streets, and hunted by crowds of amateur bounty seekers. And every hit, every chase, every confrontation got clipped, reposted, and cheered online by audiences convinced the legal system was dragging its feet. But here's the disturbing part. The lines blurred fast. Was this justice or a full-blown digital mob inventing its own brand of law? At what point does accountability turn into vigilante chaos? Legal experts warn we might be staring at the beginning of a new era, one where public outrage, supercharged by live streams and instant messages, tries to replace real due process. We've seen mob justice before in other contexts, but rarely with this kind of scale, speed, and coordination. Things got so heated, the authorities themselves had to step in, warning Somali's pursuers and defenders alike that South Korea's justice system wouldn't tolerate citizens taking punishment into their own hands. But for plenty of locals, the vigilante response still felt like the only way to claw back dignity from a circus that should have never happened in the first place. And at the center of all this, Somali himself, still bizarrely defiant. He kept posting online, bragging about his supposed immunity and waving around his American passport like it was a golden ticket. His so-called apology for mocking Korean history fell flat. He said, "I just want to apologize for what I have done, and my behaviors did not mean to hurt Koreans' pride this much." But almost nobody bought it, especially since he refused to delete the offensive photos and videos even after the backlash exploded. To most, his words rang hollow, just empty lines to stall for time. Meanwhile, the allegations keep stacking higher. New whispers claim digital evidence exists, including AI-generated videos allegedly used as leverage against potential victims. If that sticks, prosecutors could be looking to drop a crushing combo of fines, civil damages, and a sentence stretching decades into the future. This isn't just a trial anymore. It's turning into an all-in gamble to wipe the nuisance streamer playbook off the map for good.
Anyway, Johnny Somali was arrested partially for his own safety because after days of him streaming himself being incredibly rude and disruptive in South Korea, there were literally hundreds of Asian people on the street all hunting down a black guy to...
My guess is police had been looking for an excuse to bring him down for a long time, and finally he did something
International reaction hasn't been slow. Japan's media is glued to the spectacle, quick to remind everyone about Somali's earlier ban for spewing anti-Japanese hate and going viral with harassment. Across Asia, legal circles are eyeing Korea's playbook closely, wondering if this could set the model for their own future prosecutions. Meanwhile, back in America, authorities have kept their distance. No official support, no lifeline. Despite Somali's loud attempts to spark a diplomatic rescue, the message is sharp and clear. The era of digital impunity is crumbling, one streamer at a time. And now, it's the final countdown. His court date looms. That monstrous $10 million fine remains unpaid, and whispers swirl that prosecutors are gearing up with a fresh stack of charges, including talk of anti-terrorism violations and more accusations tied to digital manipulation. The travel ban is ironclad. Somali is stuck in Korea with no way out, his streaming career barely breathing, his infamy sealed forever. Every step he takes is shadowed by prosecutors and swarms of online sleuths dissecting his every move. New witnesses are rumored to be lining up, more evidence is getting assembled, and prosecutors only seem hungrier to make him the ultimate example. This isn't just Johnny Somali's downfall, it's a global warning shot at every influencer who ever thought the world was theirs to prank, mock, or exploit. The clock is ticking, and the stakes now stretch far beyond one man's fate. Will Somali somehow pull off a last-minute miracle? Or will this trial become the exact moment the world finally says enough to chaos for profit? Is he the first domino to topple, or just the scapegoat for a whole generation of clout chasers? Because here's the truth, in today's digital circus, everyone's watching and nobody's looking away.